Everyone, it's Aesah, and welcome to my video for Twisted Fate Reroll. Twisted Fate Reroll, I consider to be the strongest reroll comp in the game right now, so if you're looking to play some reroll, I would recommend this one. Twisted Fate's best in slot, you really want a Gunblade and Rageblade. These are very, very, very important for this unit. Unlike a lot of other units where you can kind of do a mix of items, I think Twisted Fate really needs these two items. The reason is Twisted Fate is a very unique unit where every single time he attacks, he gains 2 ability power. So he has a very unique way of scaling AP into the fight based on how fast he attacks, so Rageblade helps with that, and then Gunblade helps the fight last a long time, so you can get that super scaling. Your best last item, another Rageblade is very good, but a lot of times you're not going to have the luxury to kind of pick and choose. I would say because Twisted Fate already gets so much AP, I would avoid Archangels or Death Cap, where a lot of the value is in AP. But you could go for like Jewel Gauntlet will let you crit or damage amp items like Translator or Guardbreaker. You could do second Gunblade, but it's not that good. Nashor's is also not that good. I would kind of avoid these. Shoujo is going to be okay as well. Because there's a 2-cost reroll, you're going to want to roll on level 6, usually level at 3-2. You could either Lost Streak early game or Tempo early game. Ideally, you want to start the game with like a Rageblade. It's really strong early game and win a lot of your rounds in stage 2. That's going to be the best opener. Yeah, Twisted Fate's Syndicate bonus is also extremely important. If you look at 2-star TF, he does 2 cards for 225 damage, so 450 damage. But with a Kingpin bonus, he throws, I believe it's an extra card. I'm not entirely sure for 400 damage. Either way, if it is an extra card, it's actually double damage. If it replaces one, and I actually think it replaces a card. If it replaces a card, then it's still 50% more damage. So making Twisted Fate your Kingpin is really important. Shaco is kind of a useless unit, so you really want to play Braum and Darius, ideally. When you're rolling on level 6, you should be able to find these units pretty easily. And there's a few variations you could go here. I think Rapid Fire is very important. You're usually not going to have items to itemize your second Rapid Fire unit, so it doesn't really matter too much what you pick. I think Kog'Maw is pretty popular just because he's kind of cheap, and you can hold Kog'Maws if you do hit a Kog'Maw 3. Maybe you can put items on him. Even a 3-star 1 cost is only 9 gold, so you could just hold them. And then a few variations you could go Gragas plus Rost. This will give you the Bruiser and Vanguard for both your frontliners and Divine Core bonus. You could also go Skarner as well. If you have too much value, you can actually go 4 Vanguard version because you're playing 4-2 cost and just play these the entire game. You'll get a lot of rolls. And then on your next in, you could potentially play another Vanguard. And then eventually you can maybe even drop Darius for Misfortune in this version. But I would say typically, I think playing Rost and Gragas tends to be the most consistent just for their Divinicore bonuses. I would say it doesn't matter too much. Skarner, of course, gives Boombot with Kog'Maw. If you have him itemized, that could be useful as well. Tank-wise, you can honestly tank with any of these guys, whoever you 3-star. I would say Darius and Braum are a little bit better because they will get a little HP from Syndicate. And when you do manage to hit a 3-star frontliner and a 3-star backliner, you can push levels, put in 5 Syndicate is usually the next natural progression. And then if you have Misfortune items, you can usually use her as your duo carry and put the hat on both of your backliners just because the Syndicate bonus on your frontliners are not that impactful late game. If you don't have Misfortune items, just put it on your strongest tank. On level 9, if you make it there, Dynamo is pretty good. There's just not a lot of traits you can add. Aurora is going to be the best unit. And you can throw in just another frontliner like a Kobuko or something like that. To make the fight last longer, if you're rerolling, still rerolling for like Braum, you can throw in a Braum too. That would be pretty good. But I find building anti-heal and magic shred in this comp kind of hard because Twisted Fate wants so many rods. But they are both helpful, I would say Magic Shred is a lot more important than Anti-Heal because Twisted Fate has a lot of high single target damage. So he's kind of just going to kill whoever he's attacking, even if they do have some healing most of the time. Anti-Heal is still good, but I would definitely prioritize 3 frontline items just because if your Twisted Fate scales into the fight, you want your frontline to be as strong as possible, and you'll usually win if the fight lasts a long time. Another thing that's a little different about this comp is in a lot of comps when you hit your 3-star 2-cost primary carry, you would just push levels, but having at least one 3-star frontliner is really important just because of the nature of TF. You want the fight to last a really long time. So frontline items, you can kind of use whatever. Redemption is going to be a ton of value because the fights are already going very long, so Redemption is probably going to be your best item you can possibly make. Other than that, Twisted Fate does have Gunblade healing, so stuff like Warmogs is a little bit less value. It doesn't really scale with it that well, where if you have items that give resists, like Bramble, Declaw, or if you have like durability from Steadfast, basically each point of healing from the Gunblade is going to be worth a lot more. So going from resist items are fine. That being said, Warmogs is really good tempo early game. So I would avoid building this later on, but early game is just going to be really strong, and it's not going to be a bad choice. One last thing I'd like to say about this comp is because some of the items are pretty similar to Vayne, if you're doing your roll down, you can consider pivoting to Vayne if you hit a lot of Vaynes. If you're rolling a ton of gold in one turn, I wouldn't mind just buying all the Vaynes. Just make Vayne 2. If you have to sell it, it's fine. You only lose 1 gold for the potential option to hit a Vayne way ahead of tempo. And they can use a pretty similar frontline as well, especially if you go the Skarter version here. You could just go like Vanguard Vayne and just replace this guy with Silas. That's going to wrap it up on this video for Twisted Fate Reroll. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the Discord. Thanks for watching.